Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Planet New Jersey. We know it's been a while, but with this being a busy time of the year with
We
the
missed like
holidays,
1 week.
it seems a
Maybe
lot
two,
longer.
but
It seems a lot longer, but the holidays and busy time of the year. Don't interrupt the intro. But
I'm
we
sorry.
we we thank everyone for being aboard the spaceship with us again today here at Planet New Jersey. We do want to start off with a big shout out and thank you to our sponsors, NJBIA's membership team and the communications department, as well as our official sponsor, New Jersey Manufacturers Insurance, also known as NJM, for all of your auto, home, and workman's compensation needs. No mascots, no jingles, just great insurance. Your host for today is Randy Stephens, and as usual, and alongside me is the guru of comms, Vinnie Civitillo. Hey, there he is. And for those who are watching, you gotta tap it on YouTube. We want to shout out our other co-host, Casey Skarecki, who's absent for today. But our special guest for the day, Raheel Shamim of Marco Technologies. Raheel, you can tell me how bad I did there. Just before I let him say hi and introduce himself to everyone, Vin and all of our viewers, Marco and Raheel have been an ideal new member coming into NJBIA. Met him at an event. They registered shortly after a follow-up conversation. He's already been on at least 2 meetings with myself. Other folks from the executive team have attended events, and they're like boots on the ground, ready to come and just continue to build out this relationship between Marco Technologies and NJBIA. I'm very, very excited about them being here with us and joining the organization. Raheel, say hi to everyone.
Hi, everybody. And
Hey,
Randy, just to confirm, you got that perfectly.
hey, that doesn't happen too often, so we might have to loop this a couple times. Then I'll let you handle that.
And and even if you hadn't with that kind introduction, I would have let it pass. That was a really nice introduction. Thank you so much for that.
Nice, nice. Ben, go ahead and kick us off, man. What are we talking about today?
All right, so I just read this morning that the FAA has finally restricted drones in key locations over New Jersey.
Finally.
I know I've been hearing about this nonstop for I don't know all of December. If you're listening to this, we're probably going to put this out like first or second week of January. So if you're listening to this and we have completely gotten rid of the drones by then, sorry, but we're in mid to late December here. It's pre holiday season at this point, more or less, and it's still a problem. So for the two of you, what have you been thinking? Like, what are they, and how do we resolve this?
Bro, you go ahead. You're a tech guy, so I'll let you jump into
Oh
this.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Yeah, no, of course. Yeah, no. I suddenly have all these. I know how Microsoft business licenses work. I don't know how spy drones work. Um, so as a New Jersey resident, right? Obviously, I guess we've known about this story now for a couple of weeks, 2, 3 weeks. I think
I
when
want to
we
say
saw it
like late
locally, right?
November, like November
Yeah,
28th
Yeah,
to
exactly.
30th. I want to say was when this
yeah.
started.
When people were like, "Hey, what are these drones that we're seeing in the sky?" So it started off for me. I was like, "Oh, this is kind of a cute story. This is kind of
Yeah.
a fun story, right?" I'll tell you when I started getting concerned about it is obviously you go through like the first couple of rounds where you're like, where they're like, "Oh, we really can't provide any information." When I started getting concerned about it was when our sweet Senator Andy Kim, when I saw him out in the marshes trying to chase down these drones with like the sheriff's department, and I'm just going this isn't Andy Kim's job. We need to have like law enforcement. We need to have actual answers for that stuff, right? And then just
Yeah.
kind of following it along and stuff like that. Where I land right now is, I hope everything is safe. The concern is basically just from the fact that we don't have information, right?
Yeah.
In those situations, I tend to be like, okay, I'm believing that the people that are in charge are keeping these secrets for a reason. It's at the end of the day, it may be hopefully for our benefit and everything like that. At the same time, you're like, well, if the aliens are coming, this is exactly what they want me to believe. So, you kind of wrestle with that a little bit. But the nice thing about it has been that it's put New Jersey in like the forefront of like
Sure.
all of like the news and everything, which is always lovely whenever our state comes up. At the same time, I don't appreciate people taking shots at us.
Uh,
Like if the aliens were coming, why would they land up in New Jersey first? And it's like, hey man, have you not watched War of the Worlds? They came to Bayonne. This is where you start
that's a
if you
good
want to
piece of
take
New
over the
Jersey
world.
trivia right there.
Exactly. There you go.
Then
So
then I
that's where
need
I'm
I
at.
need you to appreciate that.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess this is just my skepticism, right? When I first heard about it a few weeks back, I'm like, okay, it'll be done in a couple days. Somebody's probably flying something in areas they shouldn't be. Think it will be handled. Then, and when it kept just consistently popping up in the news, and they were talking about no one knew who could identify whose they were or where they came from, like, okay, now I got to be a little bit worried. And I live in Burlington County. I'm probably, 20 minutes, 30 minutes at the most out from Fort Dix. So there's like,
Mhm.
weird noises and loud military type stuff like flying over the home at different times. So I'm like, okay, pretty used to it. But when they started saying like some of the drones were the size of vehicles and cars, I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, okay, what's going on here?
I mean, I just hope, like Raheel said, like that it is a situation where they're not telling us and not that they don't know.
I can
Because,
Yeah.
I can rest with that though.
yeah,
Yeah.
That's a little bit more easy to digest.
yeah. I mean, we have like a pretty serious military in the United States. And even if we
Mhm.
didn't, I mean, for better or worse, people are allowed to own guns. I don't understand how nobody, official or not, has blown one of these things out of the sky yet. Like, nothing says, where is your license to operate this, machine quite like an M1 bazooka. Like I say we just give like a half an hour, 45-minute warning. Like, hey, present your license to do this and give us like your intent or whatever,
With the
or you're
necessary
done.
background checks and all that sort of stuff, right?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think that would actually be like a lovely Garden State National Holiday Day where we all
Hey,
just go out. Hey, everybody, you got your gun license. God bless you.
oh my
You're
God.
out in the field. There are these drones. Have at it. You
Yeah.
know,
Michelle's gonna have a good time with this one, I can
everyone.
see.
I was thinking about that. I was like, we have to coordinate it just a little bit so it doesn't like come crashing down on
Oh
95 or
God.
something. But like as long as it's like over the woods or over a prairie or a river or something, like it couldn't be that bad, right?
Then a couple weeks ago we were hunting the New Jersey Devil, and here we are looking for drones. I
I
thought I
love
saw a putty tat.
it.
I'm gonna have to take this offline and ask you all about the Jersey Devil thing. That is a story that has confounded me for 25 years. I've gone down a couple of different rabbit holes, and then I say, you know what, I need to back away and to back away from the screen for a
All
little
the
bit.
research you need to know
Yeah.
about that will be found on episode. We're at the what 10, 9, 10,
11
9-ish.
some
It's
I
Okay.
on
think it's the
YouTube.
one
Go
before the last one.
go
We
there,
we took
start
a
your
real deep dive with an expert from Camden, Rutgers Camden's library, and it is worth the watch, believe me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
nice.
But since we're here to talk about tech, why don't you tell me about Marco Technologies?
Absolutely. So, Marco Technologies is a company that was founded in Minnesota back in 1973. We started off as a typewriter repair shop, back in the 70s. And over the course of the years, we became more of a business processing partner. We picked up print and copy services, which still make up 50% of everything that we do. In 2005, we started what is now our MSP service. So MSP is managed services, managed solutions provider. So basically, that is taking care of everything IT within your organization, right? So next year, or I guess when this gets released in 2025, we
Next
will.
year. It's always fun when we get to say that, this time of year.
12 days from now,
Yeah.
we will be celebrating 20 years in the MSP space.
Nice.
And, as a company, we've grown a lot, obviously, over the last 50 years, and we have been expanding out east. New Jersey is a big territory for us. My role within Marco, I've been with Marco for about coming up on 6 months. My role within Marco is to be speaking to our clients and our prospects about our MSP practices. So everything that's IT related, what you're doing right now internally, if you're working with a partner. Obviously, there's a lot of interesting conversations that are happening in that space constantly, with technology being the way that it is, constantly evolving, security. People have lots of questions about the cloud. People have lots of questions about AI, things like that. So, that's why we're here.
So
and
oh, sorry, go ahead.
and you know what, Rael, right? So it's like it'll be I guess I would count it robbery to be on an NJBIA business podcast and not plug us in here. But
Mhm.
there's a lot of great things happening in New Jersey business outlook and plans and things of that nature coming down the pike, especially going into next year. I'm gonna steal Vinny's pre-production question and ask, like, what made New Jersey like such a strategic location for you guys as you guys are looking to kind of branch out and develop and continue to grow in your MSP space?
Absolutely. So, I've been in Jersey myself for the last 25 years. And I've been working for about the last 20, right? So just my experience within New Jersey has always been about, there's this awesome small business community that lives in New Jersey, right? And that's up and down, up and down the shore, right? Basically, I think that there's a real entrepreneurial spirit in New Jersey, which for an organization like Marco, when you are looking at target areas, you want to go to places where there's, where there's business. But more important than that, I think what we're looking for is we're looking to work with people that are also business minded. And there's a lot of business minded people in New Jersey. On top of that, as an MSP, we are I we are what I'd consider to be a larger MSP in the MSP space. MSPs come in lots of different flavors, right? There's a small local MSP that you can go to, and you can go to a larger one. Just due to our size, which is over 1,200 employees, we are what we'd consider a large MSP. So what that means is our operational maturity level is pretty high. So the conversations that we want to have, the conversations that we are having with our clients in, in industries like manufacturing and healthcare and nonprofit, whatever that may be, tend to be at a high level. And when we look at New Jersey, when you think about manufacturing, when you think about healthcare, when you think about even nonprofits, right, this is a hotbed of a lot of activity. And just to kind of plug in NJBIA into the conversation, as we are working on our growth efforts, and obviously a big part of that is going to be sales. We're obviously looking to increase sales, like everybody's always looking to increase sales. But what we recognized in this region was that we want to be a business leader. We want to be a technology leader. We want to be part of the conversation at the end of the day, right? And if you want to be part of the conversation, what we recognize is you have to work with organizations that are part of the conversation, right? We look around, there's no organization better than NJBIA, right?
Aw.
Obviously,
Listen, say that again for the people in the back, man. Make sure they hear.
there is no organization better than NJBIA. The gift card that you need to send to my home address, we'll talk about that later. No, but in all sincerity, part of my role is going to be working with different chambers of commerces, right? It's going to be working with different networking groups, and that's always a part of it. But we feel that, hey, if you want to have an important conversation, you want to have that conversation with industry leaders, you have to be where they are, and where they are is NJBIA. So here we are.
Nice.
Wow. Are there other states? I mean, I know Minnesota and now New Jersey. You were saying expanding east. Have you stopped off in other states on the way here, or is it just the two?
Yeah, I'm sorry for not clarifying that. Yeah, no, we have, our biggest presence is obviously in Minnesota. Our second biggest presence is in Wisconsin.
Okay.
Iowa, Nebraska are huge, areas of growth for us. My own region, my own territory is everywhere from Maine down to North Carolina. So we are expanding. Obviously, we're expanding at a certain speed, but we have presence now. Actually, I will get back to you guys with the exact number of states that we have a presence on. I believe at last count it was 26
Wow.
within, yeah. And I'm actually in the process of hopefully prospecting a client out in Alaska. So if all works well, hopefully by in 2 months from now, I will be in Anchorage, Alaska, which is a state I've never been to. But I guess the important thing is that we have the ability to support our clients nationwide and internationally also.
And Raheel, a quick question for you too. So I know acquiring businesses is something you guys have done in recent years. Are in terms of your and you don't have to give me the secret sauce, but in terms of your plans for Jersey, are you guys looking to acquire businesses or kind of just implement Marco as a leading MSP in the state or in their area?
Yeah, our plans are, and that a lot of these conversations are at a level above mine. But our intentions in New Jersey is to be a solid MSP. And a big part of, the MSP, of the history of MSPs is you grow through acquisition. So that's certainly something that's on the table for us. And we're always looking to partner up with any good organizations. One of the challenges of an MSP that's expanding its footprint is, how do you find good people to work with? How do you find good technical people to work with, right? And obviously we have our own recruiting efforts for that, but a lot of times the best people to work with are people that have been here, people that know the environment, that know the culture, and that's essentially who we want to work with. And a lot of times if it's a small MSP that's looking to partner up, that's exactly the type of relationship we're interested in.
So speaking of those kinds of people, what drew you to Marco? Because you said you've been with them 6 months now. I'm assuming that was sort of like a we're looking for somebody in New Jersey. What led you there?
What led me to Marco was, so I've been in the MSP space now for about coming up on 6 years. Before that, I worked in IT for 15 years doing, various different jobs, but I was in the technology space, but specifically with MSPs, I've been coming up on 6 years. So it gave me an opportunity, just, working for an MSP the first time. It gave me an opportunity really to work closely with small to medium business owners. And previously to that, in like in my experience, I'd worked for organizations that were targeting corporate customers, right? Because we're working with customers out of New York City, we're looking at big financial firms, we're looking at big insurance firms, we're looking at corporations. Working for an MSP, you work with small to medium business owners, and I really, really like that. The two MSPs that I worked for in the past are two great organizations that I work with, but they were smaller, and so their footprint was also smaller, right? When I was looking at my next step, where I want to go professionally in this space, for me, it made sense to work for a bigger MSP that has the expertise of a Marco, that can provide solutions at a faster rate than a traditional small MSP can, right? There's advantages and disadvantages to both. Like I said, at a smaller MSP, you have more of that community relationship with your customers, right? You have that closeness, which is lovely, and it's a genuine thing. And I think that adds a lot to the client experience. But at a bigger MSP, what we have access to is we have access to new technologies. We have access to emerging technologies. We have teams of people that can look into new technologies, that can determine whether this is something that would be feasible for our clients, depending on which industry they're in, right? So I like the fast-paced nature of that. And it still gives me an opportunity to work with small to medium business owners, right? Which is ultimately what I like doing. Is I like meeting people and interacting with them and trying to convince them that, I'm a trustworthy person and they should buy from me. But but really it's about that human connection, and being at a Marco allows me to have both of those things. So
Cool.
and Ray, a question for you. So I'm thinking, right, if and this is just from a business owner's perspective, right? There's going to be some business owners that are going to hear this podcast, and just for as an example, Randy's Corporation A hires Marco as our MSP. We have a problem in the print room, and something's going wrong, and we call you, hey, we need someone to come out and take a look. Are you guys sending Marco employees out to our location, or are there vendors under Marco that'll come and provide that service?
So it depends on the service itself, right? If it's a printer copy customer, it is 100% of the time it's somebody from Marco. Even if it's an IT situation, if it's a project or anything like that we have to work on, we have enough technical resources within the region to be able to support any of our
Nice,
customers.
nice.
We have our response time, our SLA is 4 hours on site if we have to be on site. So we're able to make that work. But as we're trying to be as creative as possible, working with different organizations in the region and just trying to understand, okay, how can we tap into local resources and local talent and all that stuff? We're definitely open to exploring all different types of, relationships on that front. One thing I will say is all of our support is US based. So the help desk that we have for our customers they're all based out of Minnesota. The loveliest people you'll ever talk to. Every time I
Minnesota
talk to them,
nice.
Minnesota nice, exactly. Every time I talk to them, it feels like I'm living an episode of Bobby's World, if you remember that
Yes.
cartoon
Oh,
show.
don't you know?
I hope my bosses in Minnesota don't hear this part and get upset at me making that at that reference. But
Oh,
I've
geez.
been I've been open about talking about it. But and you know what? I'm sure the three of us have a Jersey accent that we're just not aware of. That we just think is. But it's cool. It's a Jersey accent. Of course, it's cool.
I didn't realize I had a Jersey accent. I went to school at Hofstra University out in Long Island, and I didn't realize that I had a Jersey accent until I went out there with the New Yorkers. So,
I realized that you had a Jersey accent right now when you said Long Island.
how else do you say it?
I think long.
Uh,
How do you say it? Vinny,
then
what's the right
say
word?
Long Island?
Long Island. I think.
What did
Yeah.
I don't know what I did. I don't know
We
what
don't
letter
know.
I'm dropping. You know which one I'm aware of is Trenton. Like I will very frequently drop that middle T,
Me too.
or the
Same.
second T, whatever you want to call it. Yeah.
Yeah, water for me.
Yeah, water. I think I replaced it with a D. It's like water.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of services, we've said MSP quite a lot. Tell me about some of the ones that you guys offer.
Sure. So, our managed IT services, it's that's Amplify IT is our primary managed IT services solution. It's an MSP service, so basically everything from monitoring your PCs and your servers to your network infrastructure, everything under the scope of your organization. It comes with a help desk, making sure that your emails are as secure as possible, making sure that your data is as secure as possible. There's a lot that goes under that umbrella, right? It's basically at the end of the day, there's a lot of different technology things that fall under an organization's umbrella, right? And we can go through them one by one. And we can say, hey, this is what's going on with your firewall. This is what's going on with your server. This is what's going on with your PC. And that's generally the building blocks of any relationship that we have, right? Ultimately, though, for us, when I think about our services, it basically comes down to, okay, how do we help our customers and their users work? Right? How is it that they are working? And so, because a lot of times when you're working in this space, when you're working in technology, you can kind of get bogged down into the details, into like the specifics of it, and that's great. That's actually a great thing because we have great engineers that love all of that tech stuff, that love to know what the latest software update is, that know what the difference is between version 1.3 versus version 1.4. I'm not that technical. But what I do like about it is understanding how version 1.3 is going to affect somebody versus version 1.4, right? Like, how is that going to make their work easier or harder? And how do we basically get our arms around supporting all of that stuff, right? So that is kind of granular, I know. But at the end of the day, that's our goal. It's just, okay, how can we help you leverage technology so that you can work the best possible way? And whatever the best possible way means to you, that's what it means to you.
Right, Ray, I'm gonna ask you a compound question here. We've got enough time for maybe two more questions before we can get into our trivia. So I'm gonna throw a compound question at you. I heard you mention different industries that Marco could benefit, or just relationships you guys are looking to build in New Jersey. So we'll pick manufacturing on that front because that's near and dear to NJBIA and the kind of heart
Mhm.
of who we are. So there's three things that when you think about technology that are more than buzzwords, but are like top of mind for a lot of people in that space. AI, cloud, which I'm completely lost about outside of the $2.99 I pay for extra space on my iPhone, and and cybersecurity. So you can pick one or you can touch on them all, how they all like what you guys can do, how it can affect, improve, or help those that are in that manufacturing space.
Sure. And I can speak about that specifically for manufacturing, or I can I can tell you how it kind of translates to any organization, right?
Shoot.
Specifically for manufacturing, let's say when you're looking at AI, right? What does AI mean in manufacturing? It could mean multiple things. There's different lines of business applications that each manufacturing company is using for whatever their line of business is. And there's obviously automation that is coming in on every front, right? So whatever that may be for that organization, the way that we can work with them on AI is we have AI expertise within Marco. So we have people hired specifically to look at an organization, look at the AI applications that are available for that specific organization and make recommendations, right? Say, hey, if you implement this, this is how it will help. And that's, kind of like the larger scale AI consultative work that we do. But the interesting thing in 2025, the way that we see it is that's going to happen is there's going to be a version of AI that is going to be available on a consumer level, on a business process level. This is for anybody that has a business. And the reason why I say that is because it is tied to Microsoft. Microsoft is how most of the world does its work, right? 80 to 90% of the work that we do,
For better
we
or
do it
worse.
for better or worse. We use Microsoft, right? We use Word, we use Excel, we use Outlook, whatever it is. I know that,
Teams.
And
oh,
there's
we're
some
not
there's some changes coming down the pike. I heard you mention in a previous conversation about with Microsoft, right?
exactly. So the solution, the AI solution that Microsoft it's available now, that they're going to be rolling out. It's called CoPilot, right? And so CoPilot is Microsoft's AI solution, for lack of a better word. It's AI, right? And the reason why we think that it's going to be a huge thing in 2025 is, number one, is everybody uses Microsoft. Everybody has some sort of vague interest in AI. And when you see Microsoft is releasing an AI product, there's a validity to it, right? You have a little bit of a sense of ease that, hey, if Microsoft is telling me that this is something that I can use, then as a business process, this may be something that I want to use, right? But again, and whenever we have that conversation about AI, three things immediately happen to me. Number one is I'm shocked that we can do this. Like, I'm impressed by the fact that of the technology. Number two, I get a little bit concerned that we can do all of this with the technology. And then I think about, okay, how am I going to be implementing this into my technology, into my work, right? And I think what tends to happen is a lot of business owners, what I'd imagine where they're stuck on right now is that second part, which is, hey, this is a little bit scary. All of this is a little like it is going to be changing the way that we're going to be working a little bit, right? And I think partially, I mean, just personally speaking for myself, it's because I watched Terminator 2 when I was 8 years old. All right. And the scene of Arnold cutting his arm is implemented into my head. I am exactly. So there's a concern with that, but I think the genuine concern is, okay, how do I don't want to replace my workers. I don't want to replace my employees, but I want to know how to make them more efficient, right? So with the Microsoft Copilot license, what a small business owner can do today is they can get a Microsoft Copilot license. They can get a license for Copilot Studio. So basically you can build your own chatbot with that, or you can design your own AI bot to do whatever you want to do. And let's say if you have a salesperson who is a really, really busy salesperson, they go to meetings in person, they also have meetings on Teams. You can train a chatbot to replicate that person on Teams. And in a sense, what you've done is you've made that person double efficient, right? So they can attend the meeting in person, but they can also attend the meeting in Teams. And you're like, wow, for $230, I have doubled up the efficiency of that person.
I
But as a
myself
tech,
have not attended a single episode of this show, by the way. I programmed the chatbot to just smile, nod, and say something funny every 6 minutes or so.
but the concern for the business owner at that point is, hey, sure, the technology exists, but is it secure, right? Like, are you really confident enough that AI version of your salesperson is going to be giving them the correct information.
Yeah.
Are you willing to stake your reputation behind that, right? And that's where you work with a partner like Marco or any sort of Microsoft partner that you have to implement security features along the way, right? You want to make sure that, hey, if this chatbot is going to be sharing company information, we want to make sure that it's not confidential information. We want to make sure that it's not financial information, all of those things, right? The exciting thing for us as a technology company is just looking at the delta of where we are today versus where that chatbot future is, right? There's so many other things that you can implement to make your salesperson so much more efficient, right? So let's say if does this salesperson have to do reports? Do they have to do analysis? How does AI help them do that? If you're an executive, if you're a C-level executive, you get copied on 70 different email threads a day, right? You don't want to go through all those email threads. Use CoPilot to summarize those emails for you. So that's a way that regular, everyday people can start using AI. And they're probably going to be using it with Copilot. But before you do those things, you just want to make sure that you are as safe and secure as possible, right? So,
Then you got one more before you take us into our game show, or
I
yeah.
don't. Oh, yeah, you go.
No, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I didn't hear about the what was it, the cloud computing
cloud.
and the cybersecurity.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Sorry, and I'm sorry if I went long there, guys.
No, it's all good. It's all good. I mean, the thing that confuses me, AI is its own other animal, as you just kind of stated. But the cloud kind of confuses me a little bit too, and cybersecurity. I mean, we might have to bring you back for a part two just to get into the rest of this and kind of take
Sure.
some of the high end tech stuff and break it down in layman's terms, man. If you would agree to that one of these days.
Absolutely. I'd love to do that. Cloud is another big conversation for us in 2025. I think that cloud conversation in 2025 is where a lot of businesses can, for the first time, actually consider going to the cloud. It's not as cost prohibitive as it was 5 years ago. Also, the fact that we're 5 years after the pandemic, right? The way that we work has changed a lot. A lot of people don't have the same offices that they used to. A lot of companies may not need to buy a server for the next time like they did the last time, right? A lot of their lines of business applications may already be in the cloud. So it is something that is coming. It is something that you need to be talking to your technology advisors about. We'd love to talk to you about that as well. Yeah, reach out to us.
All right.
That's awesome.
Well, I've got some questions here.
Who's ready to win the lunch?
I know, right? So Casey is absent today. I mean, I haven't tallied up the numbers exactly. I'm doubtful that anyone is going to be capable of beating her when we knock this out. But we're giving Randy a chance to catch up because Randy is way behind. So I've got 4 questions for you here today.
Hold on, before we start, I have to load up my AI chatbot to give you.
There you go. There you go. All right, first one. How many times have our New Jersey Devils won the Stanley Cup? They give you a couple seconds to lock in your answers there. You both have anything?
I got something.
All right, hold them up.
Oh, I got the digital background. Oh, there we go.
Oh, you both wrote 3 and you are both correct.
Hey!
3 wins. It's been a little while. It's been a minute, but we've got 3 of them.
When's the last one? 2002?
I think so. I looked it up before we started, and that was like 45 minutes ago, so I've completely forgotten. But yes, I think in that ballpark for sure.
In that ballpark,
yeah. All right. New Jersey's biggest county. Let me hear it. What is New Jersey's biggest county?
Question for clarification.
Sure.
Are we going population? Are we going
just
area?
Physical size. Yeah, physical size.
Yeah.
All right, Randy's got something written down. I can't see.
Hold on. The digital background's killing me right
now.
I
know. We got to cut these things out. We got to get an exception for this show. Raheel has Middlesex. Randy, just tell me.
Gloucester.
Randy, you're really going to kick yourself over this one. The correct answer is Burlington County.
Oh,
where
I s-
Randy lives.
where I reside, and I'm
Yes.
seeing the map in my head. Oh
I
my
know,
god!
I know.
I just
Um,
I just I just want to show you guys. I started off with a B for Burlington. And then I was like, I have no reason to be choosing Burlington. I'll just go with my own county.
yeah.
And it was
Rick.
wrong.
All right, now I got the inverse for you. What is New Jersey's smallest county? And I will give you this hint. It is not Burlington.
Oh.
While we wait for them to lock in some answers, I think today we're going to be competing for a quick check gift card. Normally we do Wawa, but Raheel's more of a quick check guy. I'm honestly, I'm on that page right with him. You know?
He also might like Sheets. I got
Yes.
Mercer.
I got
Um,
Bergen.
okay, again, both wrong. The correct answer is Hudson
Oh.
County. If you look at the map of New Jersey, Hudson is the only one where they like draw the little line out through the Atlantic Ocean and say like we're not even going to bother writing this in the count.
So 1 for 3 for both of us, right? I guess tie goes
Well,
to
no,
the
you're both tied at one. So this will be the hopefully the tiebreaker. Moving into entertainment here. All right. Although Westview, New Jersey is a real town, a fictional version of Westview, New Jersey was where this hit Disney Plus show took place.
Forgot the name of it for a second.
Disney Plus show.
I got this. Randy, you're going down.
It's typical when we get to this part of the show, right? I'm not gonna lie to you.
My pen has run out, but I will gladly scream the answer.
All right, Randy, before he screams it, what do you got?
It's a town, right?
No. You're looking for the show's name.
Oh,
I'm telling you, the town is Westview. Westview is a real New Jersey town, but this was a fictional version of it somewhere else in New Jersey. So
I bow out. I have
he's
no
bowing
idea.
out. All right, Raheel, lay it on me.
WandaVision.
WandaVision is correct, which means that Raheel wins our gift card.
course.
What do we give these things? It's like $5, something like. It's enough for
They
a
get
sandwich.
it's about $10. They get
Yeah.
enough to go grab a lunch or something when he's out there doing Marco stuff.
Very cool.
I'm trying to think of what my order is going to be with that $10. I think I can get a good sandwich, a small
Well-
coffee, maybe some sides.
So what I was
We'll have a
saying
party.
before we started recording, what I love about Quick Check, and I don't know if this is every Quick Check or just the one that's between me and BIA, is that they have like the little tables and stuff so you can sit down and eat. I don't have to take the food, drive it out another 15 minutes to BIA and eat it there. I can just sit right down at Quick Check. I love that about them. I don't know if it's every Wawa, but I haven't seen that at Wawa yet.
Yeah.
No answers there. I'm just saying, for me personally, that's my note. What I've noticed.
Well, guys, look, Raheel, any last words, man? I mean, let's do this. If someone wanted to get in touch with you or get some information on Marco, the best place for them to find you or contact the organization, what would you advise?
So you can email me. My email address is raheel.shamim@marconet.com. I don't expect you to know how to spell Raheel or Shamim. So if we can make my contact information available with this episode, that would be great.
Sure.
That's the easiest way to get in touch with me. We would want to, if you are reaching out to us after hearing this episode, let me know. We'd love to hear that as well. And we may have some complimentary offers for you. So I
Ooh.
definitely want to talk to you about that as well. So
Quick check
Cool.
lunch and some complimentary tech offers. It sounds great, man. Listen, before we let everybody go again, we just want to shout out our sponsors here, NJBIA's membership services team and the communications department. Our official sponsor, New Jersey Manufacturers Insurance, NJM, for all of your auto, home, and workman's compensation. Again, no mascots, no jingles, just great insurance. Raheel, thank you for being with us today. From Randy and Vinnie Civitillo, Planning, New Jersey, thank you guys for being a part of the spaceship. Enjoy your holidays. This will probably air a little bit after that, but thank you guys
Happy
for
New
being
Year,
here.
right?
And we'll see you all again soon. Thank you, guys.
thank you.